Hi, Assalamualaikum and greetings everyone. I am Joati Johari from the National Defence University of Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And today I will be sharing my short research, still in progress, on post-pandemic learning. What about high flex approach? For the past 2 years, all of us have experienced this teaching and learning in a different way. In a different way means that we have to actually find the best teaching and learning solutions for ourselves as well as for the students. And post-pandemic situation, what would be the best possible teaching and learning approaches? I'm sure that now we have the students and ourselves as educators have actually returned to the classroom learning. So should we have, one of the questions that we can ask, should we have some of the students remain at home and some be on campus, or should we have everybody to be back on campus? So this is something that this short research or this paper is trying to figure out. And in order to do that, I have actually used the students that I am teaching this semester. So a little bit of background for this particular short research. As I said, I used the students, one class of my course for this semester, which started on 14 March and it will end in about 3 weeks time, 14 weeks altogether. And this semester, this current semester, is a very unique semester because we have 3 different learning environments. So when we first started on 14 March until the 3rd week, it was fully online. That suggested that all students as well as myself, we were interacting fully online. And then from week 4 until week 7, we had this high flex approach. Some of the students were at home and some of the students were already on campus. So what happened was that we divided the students into 3 groups because we wanted at that time to observe the SOPs. So for those at home, they will just remain at home, and for those on campus, about 22 of them, they were divided into another 2 smaller groups. Group A, 11 students, and Group B, another 11 students, and they will actually rotate to come to physical classes. So if, let's say, Group B attended face-to-face session, Group A and Group C consisted of those at home. So if, let's say, Group B attended face-to-face session, then Group A and Group C would be online. So that's how we did it. And then after week 7, from week 8 until the end of the semester, all students are already on campus. So we conduct the session fully face-to-face. And then in terms of the high flex learning, as I said, weeks 4 and 7, and as I said earlier on as well, should high flex learning remain? Because now everybody's back on campus. This is something that some educators are trying to figure out, whether we should have this option given to our students. In terms of the selected literature, we will be focusing on 2. The first one is actually the high flex approach itself. Now, ladies and gentlemen, high flex approach is not a new approach in education, and because of that, there's massive abundance of literature on high flex approach. It's the matter of putting this into the context in our situation. So I would be thinking that perhaps if we were to talk about high flex approach, we should be looking at these 4 pillars in terms of what high flex approach needs in order to make it a success. The first one, learner choice. We actually give options to the students, whether they want to be at home, whether they want to be on campus, so that they have this option. The second one is equivalency in terms of the materials. Whatever that we are going to provide the student must be the same. A reusability, so whatever materials that we offer, it can be reused. And accessibility, now this is, I believe, very important. Accessibility to materials, accessibility to classes, to whatever activities that we are giving these students. And this is something that I actually adopted, or actually this particular figure or picture, this actually was taken from techporsihi.wordpress.com. So it's from edcourse.edu. And what is high flex? I believe that some of us may have a different interpretation of what high flex is all about. So basically, high flex classes combine elements of both online and classroom based learning. So these classes are actually hybrid courses to a new level of flexibility. So for us, when we actually employ high flex approach, it's when we have some students attending it online concurrently with those attending in physical classes. So that's why it's high flex in our term. The second one, we were looking at blended learning, because in order to ensure that high flex approach is achieved, so for my class, I actually use blended learning, especially the rotation model, and the sub is flipped classroom model. That means we do not have lectures, we only have activities. So activities, both students attending online as well as in the physical classes, they have to do the same activities. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a huge challenge. And in terms of research on blended learning, again, there's a lot of sources on blended learning, the success, the challenges, the positive or the negative aspect of it. But I do believe that blended learning offers the best of both online and face-to-face learning, because this is the mixture of environments that actually helps students to further enhance their knowledge of lessons. And honestly speaking, when you have blended learning, especially through flipped classroom, you will have students who are more prepared in terms of participating during the sessions, either online or physical classes, because they know the lessons of the day. At least they have read it, at least they have actually get to know what's the main lessons, what are the things that they have to understand, and they can always ask questions if they have issues or if they have doubt. And it is also found that for blended learning, there are high levels of engagement in blended learning activities. A few research have actually reported on this. I believe that high levels of engagement is one of the reason. As I said just now, the students were more prepared to actually participate during the classroom learning. And the methodology adopted, it's actually a mixed method to collecting data, qualitative in nature because of action research that is qualitative. And one of the aspects of qualitative action research is actually to undertake research to bring about positive change and improvement in the participants' social situation. So this is what this particular short research is doing. And for the quantitative aspect of it, we had online survey where the respondents, all the students in my class for this particular course that I'm teaching this semester, second year students, all of them. And then the data analysis manually done because it was through I used Google form and the whatever data appearing on that Google form, the part of the responses, so I just calculate and take it straight away. And then for data presentation, use tables and charts in the paper that I have prepared. And as for the result, so the results, we have two actually, data from the online survey itself, divided into demographic information, 60% female respondent and 40% male respondents. And then we have, remember earlier I talked about smaller groups attending these high flex approach classes. So we have 27% groups A and B and 46% group C. Now group C all were at home. And then in terms of students' preferences for learning, in the online survey, a few items were asked to the students, and two of them that I'm going to report. The first one, some students, they agreed that the activities were difficult to follow when they were online. Eight of them agreed to the statement, activities were difficult to follow. And the best thing is that only one agreed that activities were difficult to follow during the face-to-face session. So this is something interesting because this actually reflects the emerging themes or the issues that actually came out as part of this short research. Two themes. The first one, lack of appropriate hardware in physical classes to facilitate high flex approach. And the second one, as I said, very interesting. The students opted for face-to-face learning only or online learning only. So this actually suggested that high flex may not be the options for the student. Now, to discuss a little bit more on this, now this is the picture that I took during the high flex session. You can see that some students were online. These members or the students were at home, group C, and these were the members or students who are attending face-to-face. And as you can see, that's the smart board as well as the camera. Now this camera is actually fixed. It cannot move 360 degrees, and the microphone is actually facing the board. So this is something that the issues, I would say, the issues pertaining high flex approach to teaching and learning based on the themes that I have listed down just now, but this is a little bit in detail. The lack of appropriate hardware in order to facilitate high flex classes or learning. The first one is actually due to the existing hardware inappropriately positioned. So because of that, we often had miscommunication because of the voice projection, because the microphone together with the camera face only the whiteboard. So because of that, students online, sometimes they could not hear us properly in the classroom. So this is one of the issues. It became the theme for this particular research. And then no high flags at all, perhaps because of this challenge. The students responded that they actually preferred either or, only online learning or face-to-face learning. And one of the students in the comments section in the online survey, one of the comment, this is one of the famous or popular comments. Students felt left out because they may have misunderstood the instructions due to that audio challenge, because they could not hear properly, and sometimes they could not hear at all, anything at all, if the students who were talking in the classroom were not seated near to the microphone as well as the camera. And as suggestions, 2 suggestions based on this finding for this short research. The first one, actually high flags approach can become the best solution for facing the unknown. However, we have to be ready. So we have to prepare appropriate software and hardware. Maybe now we don't use high flags for the time being because everybody's on campus. But as a matter of readiness, we need to actually think of the one of the solutions, and perhaps high flags could be the best solution. And second, high flags approach must also be combined with fully online sessions using any video conference platforms such as Zoom or Google Meet, as well as communication applications such as Telegram or WhatsApp. What this suggests is that if, let's say, we were to adopt a high flags approach, so at one point we can have all fully online sessions. At another point, we can have some students attending online, some students attending face-to-face sessions, and at other points we can have all students attending physically. So I guess this can enrich and expand the definition of high flags approach to teaching and learning post-pandemic. As conclusions to this short research, 2 critical insights that I would like to share. The first one, students' preferences for either learning online only or learning face-to-face only must be taken into consideration. We have to really look at this. Why do you think, or why do the students believe and prefer this kind of arrangement? Not a mix, but either or. And second, the layout of appropriate hardware for effective high flags approach to teaching and learning. Where should we position the smart board? Where should we position the camera? And I believe that we have to add the microphones so that all voices, whatever's discussed, can be captured. And to conclude, engaging both offline and online students concurrently is actually a massive task, especially when students must work together to complete activities of the day. Because what I did, I employed flipped classroom, so activities were the main part of the classroom as well as online learning or high flags approach altogether. So they will be actually completing the same task. Some group members would be online, some group members were in the classroom. So they have to work together, complete the task, present the task. And that's how I believe education should be, because you cannot just put one group for completing a task in one physical class only, and then students online, they have to do online. No, so you have to mix. So this is actually a massive task. And with that, thanks a lot. Thank you very much for hearing me out, and I would love to connect. I would love to hear from all of you. Should you have any question, this is my email address, joati@upenm.edu.my, or I'm on Twitter @rtj. So with that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum once again, and greetings once again. Thank you.